Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
I'm Ashley Hullett.
And I'm Ian Martin.
Hello, Ian. It's so good to hear your voice. It's been so long.
I know! It's way too long.
Someone actually did DM me to be like, are you not having Ian on anymore? And I was like, I just haven't done Buffy or Angel.
Ian has not been having himself on since Ian got a full-time job, so...
Hi, you're all here to listen to us. We are here to talk graduation, Buffy Season 3's Graduation Day Part 2 for its 25th anniversary.
Woo!
What did we feel, Ashley, what did we feel revisiting this episode for this?
I love this episode. This is a banger of an episode. I don't think that I'll ever think differently about it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I feel like Graduation Day Part 1 and 2 are like such a good, I don't think there's a bad Buffy finale, but like these, I had these on VHS tape when they released those like 3 tapes with 2 episodes each for like season 2 and 3. And I still have those VHS tapes in my Buffy display right now. And I like fully wore this out because I loved seeing everyone fight together. I know people say this about season 5 a lot, and I fully disagree because I would have hated if the show ended. I love season 5, but I wouldn't have wanted it to end with her dying. Like, that would have been too much of a fucking bummer for me because I know people say like, oh, that was a perfect finale. It should have ended there. No. I don't want it to end with my hero dying. But if this had been a series finale, I think it would have felt gratifying.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right?
Well, it's such an interesting thing because like the nature of the show is lends itself so well to very specific different flavors of the show. This is the end of the high school years, and fittingly, high school feels so distinctive and unique and specific. And then 4 to 5 are essentially the college years, and then 6 to 7 are the adult years, and they all feel very different, and each one has their own finale of sorts. And this is kind of the perfect one for this time period. It works really well.
Yeah, so this episode is a be continued. We start with, Buffy is watching Faith drive away. And I did think about this. Chris Marchant said this in our last recording for part 1. Realistically, Buffy probably could have jumped and kept running and followed that truck.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. It's like and also she could have pulled her down off the ledge before she fell backwards off of it too. Like she stood up there forever talking to her. Like you could have easily pulled her down.
And like, great, you're right, I killed you. Here, let me pull you back down.
Exactly.
And I guess like the conceit is like, oh, she's just like shook.
Yeah,
so
she's in
like,
shock.
Yeah,
for
she's
sure.
like, fuck. But even with watching it drive, I'm like, even if it got to the end of that street, I would still believe Buffy could jump off and run and catch it at a red light.
Yeah, I think she could even go down the ladder and run and catch it.
She walks away. The mayor comes in. He's pissed because he sees the apartment is trashed. And then post credits, we cut to the library. I like that we get this little scene of Cordelia's. She walks in and she's kind of asking about Wesley. And she's being kind of shitty at first when she's like, well, even though she quit, can't he still stick around like a big loser? Because you did, Giles. But she does say, just tell me what's going on. Like she wants to know literally, like no one told her about, the mayor and all that. And I like that she is both worried about Wesley because she has a crush on him, but also is genuinely like, why is no one filling me in?
Yeah. And Giles immediately softens when she stops and says, just tell me what's going on. He's like, okay, yeah, here's what's happened.
Yeah. And I like that. I like that we like not wasted time, but we spent time with like letting Cordelia come back into the fold again. Right.
Also, the fact that fucking Wesley, the fact that he called this 18-year-old student to complain about this is like, get your shit together, dude. You are a grown man.
Well, he also might be the weirdest, in retrospect, the weirdest part of this entire season.
Yeah.
Why is some rando dude who gawks at the students just hanging out in the library? Why is that? Why is the school okay with that? Like, what is
Snyder?
Happening? Yeah, exactly.
Where's Snyder telling him to get out? Like,
Snyder already hates Giles, and he's letting another Brit hang out in the library.
Yeah, I feel like even going through it this time, I'm like, I feel like we needed a little clearer definition on Faith and Wesley hung out at that school a lot, but did not work there or go there. And I needed like a little, we could have just been like, oh yeah, they hired another like co-librarian and have it be Wesley. Sure.
Yeah,
Like,
or make him
there's
a
a reason.
it would have been interesting if he had to pretend to be the janitor or something like that.
Yeah.
But still had power over Giles in those scenes, which could have created an interesting dynamic. But instead, he's librarian number 2. Okay.
So we get our hospital scene. This is where I'm like a problem because this is where I'm like Bella in Twilight. Like I'm like, I like never been hotter for Angel than when he throws the mayor across the hospital room to like protect Buffy. And I'm like, oh yeah, do that with me. Like protect me. Throw some stupid across the room for me.
But I do think it's funny that he just says, don't do that. I'm like, them's fighting words.
I also don't understand how when the doctor asks him, have you been doing drugs? He acts like he's pretending they didn't and they did, but they didn't do drugs.
Isn't that what Xander says to Angelus when he grabs Willow? Xander runs up in innocence and says, don't do that. And Angelus says,
don't do that.
I think I do that.
Yeah.
That was a good Angelus. So Faith and her are, because why wouldn't they be in like rooms right next to each other almost?
Well, so we can have a oneer.
Yeah.
That's the only reason to put the two of them there. So
it really is.
Also though, like I feel like that's an accurate representation of the ER.
In Sunnydale, yes.
I mean, just in general, every time I've gone to the ER, it's been like, there's a curtain between me and the person next to me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And I guess it is within like a few hours of each other. So,
yeah.
The gang shows up and we get Buffy's dream. A thing that I will say that I wish the show did more of is this, because I do really like this. I like this shit. I love that she says the little Miss Muffet thing, and that's the thing I love about it, which is a thing I try to do in my writing and I'm always looking for in TV shows, that I like that it adds to it, but it takes nothing away if you don't catch it. Is what I love about it. Yeah, so Buffy has everyone in the library, she's telling everyone their plans. I will say, when she says a rocket launcher is not going to do it, I'm like, but we should have tried that.
Yeah, you could give it a shot.
Right.
Give it to one of those kids out there and let them shoot it.
Certainly would do more than the bow and arrow that we see a bunch of them holding.
Certainly could have blown up the vampires.
Yeah, get a pack of 5 instead of 1 at a time.
I just like the fact that in season 7 we learned that she did have that bazooka the whole time. I'm like, we should have been using that every time.
All the time.
Why don't we fire that at Glory?
There are a couple of the Glory teleport spell that would have fixed a million problems. The super combo breaker Buffy from Primeval, when all 3 of them channel their powers, and that would have. There's a couple of those throughout the show where it's like, why didn't we use the best thing? Always use the best thing, always.
And I'm always like, why wasn't like late season 4, season 5 Willow out there just like fucking floating stakes and taking vamps out?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. We literally see pencils kill vampires. So as she gets more powerful, why is she not floating these weapons and taking out some vamps?
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that one. But yeah, even as a kid, when I would watch like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, I'd be like, okay, but that one, he just made that mistake. If he does the same plan again and he knows not to make that mistake, shouldn't it work? Like, and I remember like asking my dad that and him being like, well, it's just a cartoon. And it like really bothered me as a kid that like Wile E. Coyote could get the Roadrunner if he did the exact same thing he just tried, but like without the mistake he made.
Just use some logic.
Yeah, to this children's cartoon. But I guess like also that is the nature of TV shows. We can't do the same thing over and over again because then it's boring, I guess. I don't know. But so they are kind of like creating their plan in the library. We get Cordelia's line of, we could attack the mayor with a box that just says Ebola on it. Wesley comes in. He offers to help. I wish Wesley had gotten a little bit more to do in the final battle because I know we aren't a big fan at this point, but like, I don't know. I'm just like, does he have to just silly fall over? We see that the mayor is getting the vampires ready. Cordelia and Wesley finally share a kiss. And I do like that it is immediately like, oh wait, no, this is a bad idea.
That
Because
it's
like,
horrendous.
It's awful.
because
The
right, like
world's worst kiss.
I feel like
Mhm.
that does happen sometimes. You have like a crush
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh, that person's so hot, and then it's like, oh no, this isn't gonna work. Like immediately.
Also, the mayor says that it's going to start at 3:28, which I think is just such a weirdly specific time. Like you can't round that up for like 2 minutes. Make it be 3:30. It's got to
Right.
be 3:28 on the dot.
um, I do like when he says, does he say like keep the swearing to a minimum?
Yeah. Let's watch the swearing.
I like the getting ready of everything, and it feels like we're building, right? Like I don't know. I like the like,
It's a montage. How do you not love a montage?
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, Xander has to talk to Harmony. Willow talks to Percy.
I also love at the very beginning of the montage, Buffy's like, this is how it's going to go. And it like fades into the mayor saying the same thing.
Yes,
It's
yes,
so effective for me.
Yeah, it's really well cut.
yeah. So we get to our titular graduation day, and the mayor is the commencement speaker, and I love the like. I feel like it's so iconic. The like, man, just ascend already when he's like giving
Yeah.
his speech. I mean, this is a thing that like is very Buffy. I like that he's giving a speech that's like does sound like generic commencement speech, but it also like applies to like what they've been through this year. When he's like, there's some people that aren't here that should be.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of my favorite traits of the show is giving the bad guys truth to say.
Yes, yes.
They did it earlier when he was the only one who saw that their relationship couldn't last. Parker basically tells Buffy what the theme of her show is. Like, we feel like people who are just lost in history, but I don't see that. I see people making choices, just, doing with it. Like, that's how he seduces her, is with the truth.
Yeah.
It's one of the things they do over and over again. I love it.
Yeah. And I really like that. And I mean, what I love even more is then the eclipse starts to happen, and Buffy yells, now, and everyone fucking takes off their robes and has weapons underneath.
I like that there's like all these adults that have no idea what's going on up there, and the eclipse starts that no one knew about, and they don't move. The mayor's like screaming in pain, and no one checks on him. They all just sit there. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
I also am like, okay, so Buffy did tell the whole class because every single person is armed, right?
Yeah.
Why did they have their parents go and not tell them?
That's true. And not even all of them are there, because then Angel comes in with like Percy and another flank of them
right, yes.
from the back. So like not even, and also I want to know who decided the order that they sit in, because it's not alphabetical. So they've reordered it. Is it like, did Buffy like assess everyone's assumed strengths, and it's like people with flamethrowers, you're on the right, and people who can shoot a bow and arrow, you're in the back. Like, how, I want to see that scene. Like, how did they decide who was sitting where and using what weapons?
Because again, it also does seem like Buffy should have just been up front. We shouldn't have been taunting the mayor. We should have just done the like dynamite thing right away.
Yeah, just kill him immediately.
Yeah. Like, tell all of the other kids to tell their adults to not come. The thing I love about Buffy is that the fight scenes can be emotional, and this is, for me, a pretty like emotional fight scene, because I'm like, oh, my babies, oh, they're all grown up, oh, they're doing it, they're doing the thing. And like, this is what I want for all of my endings ever. Like, hell, I could have had them use more characters that had been in previous episodes. Like, give me the kids we saw in Earshot, like, give me the newspaper editor, the girl whose name I don't remember, who like Buffy keeps stealing her answers.
Nancy.
Like, yes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could have used even more, but I'm sure also like there's like budget and
logistically that's a nightmare trying to get everybody back.
Trying to like contact these actors that all had like 5 lines in one episode. But I love that like Harmony probably was a character they weren't thinking about, because she's only in The Wish this season. That's it. Like, she's not in any other episodes. Realistically, we should have seen her in Earshot. Also, this graduating class is not that big. This is a giant school, but it's
but it's a 1 Starbucks town. Don't you forget.
Right. But man, I love that everyone has all these weapons. I love that they're all fighting together. And like you said, Ian, this is like the continuation of prom, right? Because the whole class,
Yeah.
you know that they've acknowledged that she
Well,
does this.
I always love the symmetry too. That like they're really good at. I mean, Buffy is alone, isolated,
Right.
and then has to start a rebellion where all of the people enslaved in the demon dimension come together, fight back, and are victorious. And the bad guy in Anne is very sweet talking, speaks with a sugary kind of sweet overtones, and then has a horrible, monstrous face underneath. And then how that sort of sets up the entire season. But yeah, the prom in earshot, Jonathan is suffering, and the way Buffy talks to him and says, everyone out there is suffering. They're not thinking about you because they're too busy thinking about their own pain. And that's the idea that everyone is individual, everyone is alone, isolated, separated. And that can be the thing that brings people together. And then the prom is that moment of recognition. It's really like one of the most feel-good episodes of the entire show. Like startlingly, it feels like a hug the whole episode from start to finish. But them acknowledging her and acknowledging that it's one of those things in these kinds of fantasy science fiction universes is like in the X-Files, does the guy at 7-Eleven really realize that there are aliens and that there are government conspiracies and it's all real, or is that just these characters? And I love the acknowledgement that the whole student body knows. They know what's going on. And then that definitely leads into and sets this up. It's really great.
And then Buffy lures the mayor by pulling out what, Ashley?
Faith's knife. Ooh. With Faith's blood on it.
Yes, I still wish that she had gotten that knife earlier in the season, but I do. It's a cool fucking knife.
I also think it's interesting that, like, at the beginning of this episode, after everything's happened and the mayor's at Faith's apartment, he has vampires with him. They look out onto the, like, roof balcony area. No one smelled that blood. No one saw the knife sitting there. Like, they just left it.
Well, I guess it's supposed to be she took it, is what I assume.
No, she goes back for it.
Oh.
When she decides the plan, she says, there's something I've got to get, and she goes back for it.
Ooh.
She leaves it there, like, where Faith jumped.
That makes sense. All right.
I always thought the knife looked kind of Klingon.
Yes! Oh my god, Ian, I forget that we are the same breed of fucking nerd.
The knife was designed by Kit Ray for Gil Hibben in 1998 and released in 1999. The same knife is also used in the 2002 film Star Trek Nemesis. That's probably part of the reason why it looks so Klingon to me.
Well, wait, so it was only created like a year before this?
Yeah. And apparently it was sold publicly and they just bought one of it, and it ended up in both Buffy and Star Trek. I
love that because it reminds me of, God, I used to know the name of it. It's like the Batleth or what the weapon Worf uses. That's like a weird shaped blade.
The Batleth is the big half moon.
Yes.
And they always have a knife where they click a button and the what is that part of the blade called, pops open, and it looks like that to me. But apparently this was a real knife. Hopefully they blunted it before they gave it to Eliza.
I didn't know this was a real knife till I started, because like Comic Cons will sometimes have like either like a weird Ren Fair table that's out of place or like a just straight up weapons table.
Yeah.
And I remember I kept seeing that. And I'd be like, oh, that's cool. This place has a Faith knife replica. And then like eventually was like, why does so many... Oh, because it's a real knife. That's
like, wow, everyone is such a Buffy fan.
Well, I'm like, wow, so many people have made good replicas.
I think the blade props from the first two seasons were designed for real. They were made just for the show. And I always thought that they look kind of... I mean, I don't want to use a pejorative term, but they look kind of thin. There's not a lot of heft to them. Like you think about this one, the blades that Buffy and Angel fight with in at the end of season 2 are basically like flails. They're like pirate swords. And then by the time you get to the season 5, when she throws the sword in at the guy for talking from the council, that thing is a big, shiny, beefy. So it seems like they stopped designing them or making them specifically, and maybe just started buying publicly made prop swords.
That would make sense, actually. So I have to point this out because this has bothered me, and this is so fucking nerdy. So because I have that hallway that I had fucking custom made to take my images in, I had to very much study this scene to be like, this is where the hallway connects, because right, like Sunnydale High, sometimes the hallways is just like, this is a hallway, but we don't really know the layout. And if you look up blueprints of Sunnydale High, they're not always correct. And I can tell just because I'm that much of a fucking Buffy nerd where I'm like, but no, there's a hallway here across from the library. I know there is. I think Buffy runs through the same hallway twice in this scene because when she first enters, they've got that weird patterned wall beyond the door frames, right? We saw that in Passion. That's where Miss Calendar runs in from.
Mhm.
She runs by. Now I'm even playing it because I wanted to make sure I was correct. She runs by. We see the monster mayor crash through their lounge area. Beyond that is a little like intersection of like, if she's going straight, the library will be on her right. On her right will be the staircase to go upstairs. On the left will be another doorway. She's running, and we see the, like, when she first runs in, which is where that is in that scene, there is the like fire alarm thingy, which technically the glass case with the trophy should be next to it. Well, so after we see the mayor crash through the lounge, this is so stupid. And even explaining it, I'm like, this is so stupid. She runs through another doorway and is back at that same doorway with the like fire alarm thing and the trophy case. And like that part is where she entered. But I can't tell if, because it's possible also maybe they just like moved some of the props, right? Like maybe they just, because you don't see the glass trophy case when she first enters because of the angle. Like it would be a little bit off screen, but that doesn't look like she's running right by the library in the final wall the mayor breaks through before they're in the library. Yeah, and it looks like she hits that intersection after, I don't know. So that's my like, here's my very boring rant about the layout of the library, or the school, which I'm sure someone will be able to tell me if I'm just.
I don't think that's boring at all. This is the shit I love. I'm like, let's pick it apart.
That's what we're here for.
Pick it apart.
I just like, after watching that so many times and sending this guy who made the custom hallway for me pictures, I was like, because he even said, wait, are these two different spots? They look the same. And I was like, you know what? They are the same. Because they look the fucking same.
Ian, after 8 years, you can only talk about Bangel versus Spangel crap so many times.
Like, now it's time to talk about the hallway.
Yeah, let's talk about geography for serious.
So she runs into the library, and the mayor comes pushing through, and what does he see, Ashley?
All of the explosives.
Gosh.
And I will never, ever forget, well, gosh.
Yeah, like, it's so good.
Every time. And I keep waiting for that to be a trivia question, and it never is. And I'm like, it'll never, like, what was his last words or whatever.
That is a good trivia question. What are like his last words before he dies? I don't know. The like beauty of blowing up the school for their graduation, for the final season of them in high school is just so good. And it feels gratifying that Giles is the one that blows up the library.
Yes, I wrote that down too. I was like, Giles deserves to be the one to blow this bitch up.
He just does. And I think it's so fucking cool. And I like that they do the like yoop sound before the like they do the little like whoop. And then seeing everyone react to the explosion, Jonathan like grabbing Cordelia and like terror, so cute.
Even though he's way shorter than her and she should have been the one covering him.
Yes. Yeah, he's clearly standing up higher on those steps.
Yeah.
I love knowing the fact that, 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. they did this, and they were banned from filming there in Torrance because it was so loud.
Yeah, that was why they stopped being able to film exteriors at the Buffy house for a while.
Oh, was that why?
Yeah, because it was all in that neighborhood. If the stories I've heard are correct.
No, you're correct because I've been to the house and the high school and they are right by each other.
They're close.
Yeah, they blew up the thing in the middle of the night and didn't warn the whole town. They lost. I mean, obviously they had to get clearance, but they didn't inform the town.
Yeah.
and lost.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because like a bunch of like alarms and stuff, and like they broke
And it's
windows with the
a
explosion.
TV fire. It's not a demolition fire. There's a lot of or it's a TV bomb, and so it doesn't just like implode the building. There's a big old gas fire in that school, so it looks good on television. So yeah, it would be even more terrifying.
God. 5 a.m. You just hear a bomb go off. Like, what?
Yeah, I think I'd be upset too.
Yeah. They win the battle. The mayor's blown up. We get our little. I even like the small moment, like this small epilogue of like. I love Buffy with the fire bad tree pretty because she's so tired.
Yes.
That is how. Ashley, I feel like after the last like 2 years you and I have had, that's like kind of our brains.
Yeah, and I say that all the time.
Saying.
If someone uses a word I don't know, I'm like, fire bad tree pretty. Can you give me the definition of that?
It's funny. I think the thing he's saying there too, if you actually can break down, I can't quote it because it's so deliberately verbose. There's a predestination to this, a singularity that borders on whatever. I think is a reference to the fact that Buffy ended up at Sunnydale because she burned down the gym at her old school.
Yeah.
And so for her tenure at Sunnydale High to end by blowing up the school, I think is what that whole little monologue is that he's making there. So it's a joke within a joke, which I love.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that. And I love that he gives her the diploma. It's a little bit burnt. He says that she's earned it. So good. I do like that he's like, I'm going to go see Wesley in case he's still whimpering. She sees Angel leaving, kind of. I understand, like, I guess back to, like, I don't know. I'm just like, you see each other. You might as well, like, say, I don't know, like they're seeing each other. Like he isn't.
It's so awkward.
Yeah, right? Like, just like, be like, okay, bye.
Like, you know, well, this is great. Let's do this again. You could pull the Chandler, like, this is great. Let's do this again sometime or something. But to just like, they don't even wave. It's just weird.
And the way he like dramatically backs into the smoke.
The only reason that scene works at all, if it does, is the music. The music is doing a wonderful job of tying. The music really ties the room together. Other than that, it's just weird.
The score is so good. This whole episode,
it's wonderful.
Like,
the season, so but this one specifically.
Yeah, and then the Scoobies have their little meeting at the end, which I love. They're basically like, this is like their moment. This is like what I feel like is the moment from Chosen, but like a little less emotional, just more like, look, we did that. And they're kind of like looking at the screen, but looking at the school, and recapping that they survived. And I do like Cordelia's line of, that's the most fun you can have without having any fun at all.
Yeah.
Because, right, it's cool, but it would be fucking terrifying going through that.
I found the Giles line. He says there's a certain dramatic irony attached to all this, a synchronicity that borders on predestination, one might say. I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the gym.
I think you're right. I never once have thought about that, but I think you're correct. But also, Ian, you speak with confidence and you're smart. So like, you could be like, so he's talking about X-Men, Ian. I'd be like, yeah, you're right.
I sell it.
You do. So then they just, and I do think it's cute when they're like having a moment. All right, we're done. And then they just, kind of walk off. I think it's a very cute, very Buffy end. Yeah, I love this episode. So we're at the end. What do we think Dawn would have been doing in this episode? Ian?
Well, first of all, she would have been in the car with Joyce.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Buffy shipped them out to keep them safe. Pretty simple. Get them out of sight, out of mind.
Ashley?
To take it a little further, I think they have a hotel room and they are binge watching whatever the hot movie was that year, like whatever the hottest movies were. They've rented them all, they've got pizza, and they're trying really hard not to think about whatever the hell Buffy's doing back at home.
Or Joyce is making Dawn watch Passions.
Yeah.
I said that, yeah, Dawn would have been with Joyce, or if we just want to have another answer, that she would have somehow snuck into graduation because she wanted to help and she didn't want to be left out. And that we would have gotten a nice Dawn moment of like her also staking a vampire, maybe with like helping Xander or Willow. And like we get a moment of like, oh, she doesn't need to be saved this one fucking time, is the like whatever that I would have put in there. What was your favorite outfit, Ashley?
I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna go with Faith's tie-dye shirt in The Dream.
All right.
I love it.
All right. Ian?
Probably Buffy in the jacket. The end one is pretty iconic.
Yeah. I mean, last episode I picked her like red pants and black top, so it feels cheating to pick that again. So yeah, I do really like her like weird maroon. It's like kind of maroon, but kind of red, kind of bright, but kind of not, like leather trench coaty thing that's not that long, but is long. I like it. It looks good on her. She wears red really well. But I also have
wears everything really
that's
well.
true. I also have to give a honorable mention to my man Oz, because he looks cute in this maybe same color maroon open button up as Buffy. I think that color looks good on him with his like kind of blonde hair. The man looks good. Favorite scene, Ian?
I guess I like the oneer. At this point, if they can feel a little overdone, but the bit with the mayor attacking and Buffy defending, or Angel defending Buffy, I think is great, and I do like the drama of the gang getting down on him for what happened, like his shame over, because it's simultaneously like, well, yeah, maybe I didn't choose for that to happen, but it's a part of who I am, and it definitely sets up some of Angel's internal struggles in season 2. I think it's pretty good.
All right, that's fair. Ashley?
It was really hard for me to choose between like the battle scene of everyone coming together, but I think I'm going to go with the other one, the end. They're kind of like on par with each other in my mind, but I'm going to go with the we made it and the Scoobies reflecting on making it through high school and all the demons that come with it.
All right, yeah. For me, it's a tie between Buffy yelling now and everyone taking off their robes and the vampires yelling, get the kids, and the kids already running towards them. Favorite? Nope, we already did all that. Grade? What grade would you give it, Ashley?
A+.
Ian?
Oh, yeah, A+.
Yeah, same. It's so fucking good. Thank you both for joining me for this. This is like, these two-parters are like, all of season 3 is very special to me, but these two parts and Becoming are like very, very special to me, because I feel like we're raising the stakes, we're showing what a hero, but Becoming is about Buffy doing it on her own, and Graduation Day is about her realizing she doesn't have to do it on her own. She can have everyone around her. And I love both those things. Thank you for joining me. Thank you all for, if you're listening to this on the Patreon, thank you for being part of the Patreon. And we will be doing Buffy season 4 for the Patreon as soon as those episodes start turning 25 as well. Haven't quite decided if I'm probably gonna do the whole season, even though there's some that I would maybe skip, but I'll probably do the whole season. And in the meantime, we'll be covering X-Men the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series. And so we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.